Guru Mukha Padma Kya Chite Te Kuri Kya Hadana Kuriyo Mare Asha Shri Guru Charadi Rati Hesi Udabhagati Epasari Pure Sarva Asha Shri Guru Charadi Rati Hesi Uttabhagati He prasadi puri sarva hasha Chakudani ruje Jami jami prabhu se Devyagani de Progasino Prema Bhakti Ahuide Havidami Nasajate Ridegan Chara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sinlu Hadamajana Bandhu Lokira Jivana Ha Prabhu Kodadoya Diyamore Parachaya Vedegani Trudrivo Padha Srila Prabhupada Pandita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnaya Bhutare Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Udavani Pracharine Ivishesha Shunyavani Paschachane Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupad Prabhu Hamsa Prabhupada Sazarsar Shishibat. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Vishnupad Prabhu Hamsa Prabhupada Sazarsar Shishibat. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Anand Koti Vaishnava ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki. Prem Sako Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shambhakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhana ki. Shri Vrindavan Dhama ki. Shri Mathura Dhama ki. Navadvip Dhama ki. Jagannathpuri Dhama ki. Ganga Maya ki. Yamuna Maya ki. Bhakti Devi ki. Samavekta Bhaktivinoda ki. Dedachip Sisi Radha Radhanath ki. Nittai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki. Namaste Narsimhaya. Prahlada Dayane. Hiranyagashi Purvashaha. Sinadankara Kalaye. Ito Nishingo Parato Nishingo. Yato yamitato nishingo. Pahe nishingo, hirare nishingo. Narashingo banim saranam tapare. Sabgara Gamalabare Ranga Badbuta Shinga Tadita Hiranyagashivu Tanubinga Ishabadina Hari Rupa Jagadish Hari Jagadishare, Jagadishare. Keshavadrina Narari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Nashingare, 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 Jaya Nashingare. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Sri Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna. On behalf of the Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Temple and the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, founded by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, a very warm welcome to today's Sunday Love Feast program. As many of you may know, that we have been celebrating the 50-year anniversary of Srila Prabhupada coming to South Africa. And today, being the 5th of October, marks that 50 years that Srila Prabhupada came to South Africa. Hari, Hari Bol. So we will start our program today with a video that celebrates this 50-year anniversary that we have been observing for the year. A humble request for those of you that are sitting at the aisles, if you could come into the center, because as people come in, it's just a bit easier. So if you all can come more into the center seats so that as others come in, they can also find seats easily. Just a humble request about that. And we now go into our video. Hare Krishna, and that was one more amazing video to uplift us spiritually by Srila Prabhupada and some of his pastimes. So it is my absolute honor and privilege in introducing our speaker for today, and that is His Grace Srutakirti Prabhu. Hari Hari Bol. Prabhu is an international guest here in South Africa, so very warm welcome to you, Prabhu. Prabhu stands as one of the most revered personalities in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, primarily known for his intimate service as Srila Prabhupada's personal servant. His unique position allowed him unprecedented access to the daily life and teachings of ISKCON's founder Acharya, and all his experiences he has generously shared through his writings, lectures, and personal interactions with devotees worldwide. His humility, dedication, and deep spiritual insights continue to inspire thousands of devotees as he maintains his service attitude in his senior years at the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan. So we are all very honored to have Prabhu here with us today. His topic for today is Srila Prabhupada's pastimes, and also we have the wonderful opportunity today to purchase his books that's available here. What is the difficulty? You all will have the opportunity to purchase this book at the end of the program, and Prabhu will personally sign a copy of this book to you. A humble request to please switch off cell phones or turn them to silent mode, and I now hand you over to His Grace Srutakirti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachani Nirvishesa Sanyavari Paskachade Satarni Panchakopa Tirubhaschakri Pasindu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Today is also on the lunar calendar the day Srila Prabhupada arrived in America, which was the beginning of all of this, all these other celebrations, 40th anniversaries, 50th anniversaries. They're all there because Srila Prabhupada left India at the age of 70 years old and 60 years ago arrived in Boston Harbor in America. Fortunately for all of you, this will all be over by 12:30, so it's actually not a lot of time to somehow or other try to glorify Srila Prabhupada, but within this time frame, I'm thinking, what can I say to try to just give a little bit of how wonderful it was to be with Srila Prabhupada. You can see the enthusiasm of his disciples everywhere he went. I said when you were with Srila Prabhupada, every day was like Janmashtami. Every day. You didn't have to wait for a festival day. Wherever he went was a big, big festival because he was traveling around to enthuse his disciples and to give, as it said there, just to give the basic understanding that we're not this body, Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we're all His servants. We're all His servants. So I was thinking and that was my very fortunate position, actually become His personal servant. And I traveled with Him around the world 4 times. I just missed a trip coming here. I first joined Him in Janmashtami 1972, so let's say August of 1972. And when he went to Hawaii, it was June 1975. And by that time, I was married, had a child, and I remained in Hawaii. And it was just a few months later, he came here to South Africa. And over the years, I've always, of course, regretted so much ever leaving him in his personal service. but I was also very eager to come here to see the other places he had been that I didn't go to, that I didn't get to be with him. And this was one of those places. Some of you may remember 6 years ago, I was here for the first time. And went to Mauritius for a month and then came here also for a month here in Johannesburg, Santon, so many places. But and then right after that we went to Vrindavan, my wife and I, and we got locked up in Vrindavan. And that was when we had the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. And somehow or other we managed to get to Vrindavan and we were locked up there. And we've made that our home ever since. So that's become our base, living in Vrindavan. But just a few things, I thought, what could I say? So I wanted to start out saying how Prabhupada always knew exactly what to do with all of us. Everyone that approached him, he knew how to fan that flame, that spark that we all have of Krishna, spirit soul. He knew exactly what to do. So you can imagine becoming his personal servant. At the time I was just 21 years old, and I had been living in the temple in New Vrindavan for 16 months. So I was very new to everything. And as fate would have it, I became his personal servant. So, among other things, is all I was ever told. As I said, there was no manual how to be a servant. Now we have classes, manuals for everything. We have, of course, Bhakti Shastra. We have GBC courses, disciple courses, initiating guru courses, japa courses. But in those days, we had Srimad Bhagavatam class and Bhagavad Gita class. They were our courses. And all day long, we went out on the streets. Like you saw there, we did Harinam Sankirtan and distributed Srila Prabhupada's books. So I was told when I became his servant, I was given 3 instructions. When he rings the bell, you go in the room. When he sits in the car, you sit beside him. When he sits on the airplane, you sit beside him. So that's all I was told. Everything else I had to learn day by day. So of course, your new devotee, your Prabhupada's servant, your servant to this person from the spiritual world who came here to deliver the entire world. So you're very nervous. We went from New Vrindavan to Pittsburgh. It was just a 2-hour drive. So this is my first full day as his servant. And we get to Pittsburgh and Prabhupada is in his sitting room. And I'm in what was his bedroom. Because when he rings the bell, it's just a handbell like we do at Artik. So you can't be far away. You have to be just within 10 meters or so you can hear a bell ring. So I'm just right next door in his bedroom. And I'm looking in his suitcase. In his suitcase was sannyasi. There's a few sets of clothes, a sweater, a chadar. His cooker, brass cooker, looked like a bomb in his suitcase. You know? And I'm looking at these things. I hear a bell ring. So I got up, I ran just a few feet away, I ran into the room, I offered obeisances. And he's sitting behind his desk. I offer obeisances and look at him. And he's just looking at me. And I said, yes, Prabhupada, what can I do? He said, nothing. I just wanted to see how fast you were. So I passed the test, the first test. And with that he smiled. And so much of that anxiety that was inside of me, the stress of being his servant, just seeing him smile, it went away. Just like that, first time he rang the bell. And we're still looking at one another. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do now. I said, is anything else, Prabhupada? He said, no. But he's still looking at me. I said, should I go now? He said, okay. Went back into the bedroom and sat down. I passed the test first time he rang the bell. He literally didn't want anything. He just wanted to see what's going to happen with my new servant. Going to ring the bell. Is he going to show up? Is it going to take a couple of minutes? What's he going to do? So I think he was happy that I answered it very quickly. So it was just 2 months later, Prabhupada traveled from the USA, from New Vrindavan there. He went to Dallas, Texas, and Los Angeles, and he's on his way to Vrindavan for Kartik. You all know Kartik, the month of Kartik. So he's going to Vrindavan for month of Kartik, October 15th, for the next 28 days or so. And he was very aware he was going to Vrindavan. And on the airplane, he's always sitting at the window seat. And where am I? Next to him. That was my service. Imagine such a service, always be next to Srila Prabhupada, whatever he does. I'm sitting next to him. And he looks at me and he said, we're on our way to Vrindavan for Kartik. I didn't even know what Kartik was. And he said, I'll be reading from Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He said, you read. He said, and sometimes I'll stop you and I'll give comments. I said, yes, Prabhupada. Anyway, if you listen to those tapes, those lectures, wonderful, wonderful lectures of Srila Prabhupada from his Nectar of Devotion, 30 days. Every evening, Nectar of Devotion. Every morning, Srimad Bhagavatam class. That's what Kartik meant for us, to hear in Vrindavan from Srila Prabhupada. So we arrived there. Now I've been cooking for him every day. This was one of my main services, was cooking in his cooker. And of course, massage just before lunch, and in the evening again, massage. So now we're in Vrindavan. We finally get to India. And I wasn't aware of it, but so many Prabhupada's female disciples, they cooked for Prabhupada in India. They were all trained up by Srila Prabhupada how to cook very nicely. And of course, one of the most famous cooks, she was living there in Vrindavan, Jamuna. You all know Jamuna Devi. Cookbook after cookbook. Pure devotee of Krishna she was. And that was the first time I got to see her when we arrived there. And if you know Radha Damodar Temple, Prabhupada had a sitting room, and then there was a little veranda you would walk across to go to the kitchen, and also the area where he did his translating work of Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto. So of course, my spot was between those two rooms, just sitting on the veranda. And I didn't have to prepare Prabhupada's lunch. But I'm sitting on the veranda and I can see through the screen door this lady. I was 21. She was 10 years older than me, Jamuna. That's like a whole different generation when you're 20 years old. She was definitely like my Mataji. And I see her sitting on the floor, cross-legged, rolling chapatis. And this oven or the stove was a bucket, just a bucket. And in the bucket were some coals and some cow dung on top of the bucket. This is how she cooked in Vrindavan. No running water, just another bucket with water in it. And I see her there rolling, and it's all I can think is, looks just like Mother Yasoda, this person, this devotee. We all know Jamuna. So finally, I give Prabhupada his massage. He takes his bath. Every day, same thing. Massage, same time. After massage, walks off, take his bath. 2 buckets of warm water that were sitting out in the sun. And he comes in, dresses, puts on his tilak and says his noon Gayatri. And then he got up and he walks across the veranda. Of course, I offer obeisances as he walks by me. He goes into this kitchen. I haven't even been inside that room. It was just dark, black painted door, a screen on it. So I couldn't see much of anything. So he went in to eat, honor prashadam. So after about 5 minutes, I just became curious. And I thought, let me take a look inside. So I walk over to the door and I open it up. I didn't know what it was going to look like. It was just this tiny little room. And I look in and I see right in front of me Jamuna rolling another chapati, and Prabhupada off to the right where he could see Rupa Goswami's Bhajan Kutir and Samadhi, where he would sit, translate every day. And he's honoring prashadam. And of course he sees my head looking in the door. And he looks at me, he said, "Come, take prashadam." Of course I said, no one ever took prashadam with Prabhupada in his place. He went out on a program, then 20, 30 devotees were all there having prashadam with him. But not this. When he was in his room, he ate by himself. Little straw mat on the floor, little choki table in front of him, his thali. So he said, "Come, take prashadam." I said, "No, Prabhupada." I said, "I'll take after." I said, "After with the devotees." He just looked at me. He said, "Come, take prashadam." I didn't learn until later on. You always, whatever your guru asks, you do it. There's no question of saying no. Even if it's to give you something, your duty is you accept it. But for the second time, I just looked, I said, "After you're finished, Prabhupada, I'll take." And he looked at me. He said, "Take prashadam." So then I understood, just do what he says. And of course I wanted to, but we have that false humility that comes into play very often as devotees. You want to do something, no, you be humble. But he said, "Take prashadam." Yes, Prabhupada. So I came into the room. I sat down right beside him there at Radha Damodar Temple. He called that room the very center of the spiritual world. He called it the hub of the universe of the spiritual world. All know what the hub is. You have a tire, inside the tire is the hub, the very center. That place, he said, was the center of the spiritual world. He said, because the Krishna consciousness movement began here, at Radha Damodar Temple. He said, by Srila Rupa Goswami. Never took credit himself. He said, but Srila Rupa Goswami started the Krishna consciousness movement. So now I'm sitting beside him. And within a minute or two, Jamuna, she was expert. I have a plate in front of me, thali, little katoris, put a little dal in one, sabji, rice in one, fresh chapati just off the cow dung stove. And I'm taking prashadam next to Srila Prabhupada at Radha Damodar Temple. And I never tasted anything like it before. I was cooking for him every day. But what I was cooking didn't taste like what this tasted like. So good. One of the first things Prabhupada told me, don't put too much on my plate. He said, or I'll lose my appetite. He said, if I want more, I'll ask. And that's what I saw was going on. Just a little bit in the katoris. So now Prabhupada and I are taking prashadam together at that place. So this went on for another 10, 15 minutes. She keeps bringing chapatis off of the stove. Prabhupada's quietly, doesn't say anything, just honoring, because all you see is his hand and his mouth moving, chewing. So then finally, we're both finished. And I never had anything like it before, so good. And Prabhupada looked at me. He said, so? He said, did you like? Yes, Prabhupada, very much. He said, good. Now tomorrow you cook for her. I was a little young brahmachari. Huh? She was woman, grahasta woman. I didn't ever cook for her. That would have been a very big disservice. But Prabhupada made a very important point. He said, we don't just go around accepting service from everyone. Huh? Someone does something for you, you do something for them. Huh? I learned with Prabhupada. He gave me so many things. I was serving him, and he was reciprocating. He says in the Shastra, these are acts of love. Sometimes I may cook for you, sometimes you cook for me. Not that we just sit there. I'm Prabhu. I'm Prabhu. We call everyone, Prabhupada said, Prabhu. I call you Prabhu, you call me Prabhu. There's no question. I'm way up here, you're way down here. We see everyone as Prabhu. So she, of course, was my senior in every way, my god sister. Prabhupada said, you cook for her tomorrow. But she wouldn't have let me do that, nor could I have managed cooking on this bucket stove in Vrindavan. But he made his point. That was Kartik, 1972. So from that point, I was with Prabhupada 2.5 years. So many things happened that we can't tell you within 20 minutes or so. But it was 2 years later, I'm back in Vrindavan with Srila Prabhupada, Janmashtami. This is 2 years I've been with him. The Janmashtami, Prabhupada went there to open the temple, Krishna Balaram Mandir. Wasn't anywhere near finished. Even invitations were sent out to his disciples. Devotees were coming from Europe, from England, from America. The temple wouldn't open for 6 more months. Prabhupada was so upset. He was more upset that no one said anything. He went there for an opening that didn't happen. So that was August. He was there in Vrindavan for 2 months. August, September in Vrindavan is not the most favorite season. It's like now, rainy season, monsoon, illness. It's one of the easiest times to become ill. Prabhupada became very ill. It was the first time we had 24-hour kirtan on Prabhupada's direction. He said, all the temples, he said, you have 24-hour kirtan. He didn't eat for weeks and weeks. Where you see his bed now in Vrindavan, in his sitting room, there's a bed in his sitting room where 1977 he stayed there for months. Not a bedroom, but just on the bed, sitting up, lying down in the bed. So it was just like that, 1974. Became very ill. Couldn't eat. Didn't eat. Had no strength. I would have to put my hands under his arms, walk him to the bathroom, walk him back to the bed. This is what I did all day long for weeks and weeks. So after a few weeks like that, one evening, he hadn't eaten. Everyone, we're all in so much anxiety. Looks like he was going to leave us. So bell was right on the bed. He's sitting on the bed, lying on the bed. He rings the bell. I'm there, Jamuna, Daiva Shakti are in the kitchen. We're all just waiting for him to eat something. So he rings the bell. I go in, I offer obeisances and sit up. He said, I want you to make me upma. He said, you make first-class upma. He said, make me some upma. He said, maybe I have some appetite. So, of course, right away I said, well, yes, Prabhupada. I said, Jamuna's here. I said, I'll tell her. Jamuna was much better cooked than I could be in lifetimes. He said, no. He said, I want you to make it. He said, your upma's first class. I said, yes, Prabhupada. So I left the room. I just had his kitchen was his bedroom at that time. Nothing was finished in his quarters. So they're using his bedroom as the kitchen. Just a little kerosene pump stove now, just 2 years later. Graduated from cow dung and coal stove to smelly kerosene stove. So I go in, and whenever you leave Prabhupada's room, first thing that happens is who's ever on the other side, what did Prabhupada say? All we wanted to know in our whole life, what did he say? What did he do? What's he doing? What did he say? They knew he said something to me. This was all the time. But now especially, he's not eating. He's not walking on his own. So I look at Yamuna. I said, he's told me to make upma. So she looks at me. This time now I'm 23 years old. She's like 33 years old. My mother. She looks at me. She said, I'll get started right away. I said, Yamuna. He said he wants me to make it. He likes my upma. Imagine I said that to Yamuna. She looked at me. She said, okay, what can I do? See, this is a devotee. No big ego thinking, I'm the best cook in the whole society. Who is he to tell you to make? She looked at me and said, how can I serve? How can I help you? What should I do? I learned just spending a few minutes with her what it meant to be a devotee. You just spend a few minutes with Srila Prabhupada. Your whole life will change. You see what it means to be a devotee. Srila Prabhupada telling me to make the upma. So I told her. We didn't have anything. We had suji. And she says, oh, I have some dehydrated peas in the trunk. We had a little trunk. There's no stores across in front of the temple. There's nothing for miles, kilometers to go to even get some vegetables, to get fruit. They would go to Delhi once a week to get things to prepare for Srila Prabhupada. So anyway, her and I together, she assisted me. We made upma for Srila Prabhupada. So we have his marble plate and have a katuri sitting in there, and we filled it up with the upma. Took us not long, 10, 15 minutes to make it. I go in. You're a servant. Everything. These are all your responsibilities. You go in all the time. I go in. Prabhupada's sitting up in the bed. I put the thali down, the upma in the center there in the katuri. I offer obeisances, and I go back into the kitchen. So now there's 3 or 4 of us in the kitchen just thinking, Prabhupada's going to eat. He's getting better. He's going to eat. We're hopeful, in ecstasy. He asked for something to eat. He hadn't eaten anything. So after 10 minutes or so, I hear the little ding, 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 ding. I go back in the room. And of course, I go in and I'm looking and I offer obeisances. And I see the katuri is like practically full. I offer obeisances and sit up. Prabhupada, who hadn't eaten in a month, is looking at my face. It looked like, you have a little child. You give them something they don't like, they push it around in the bowl to make it look like they did something. That's what it looked like to me. Like you're just moving it around, like make believe, just to satisfy me. And I sit up, and he looks at me. He said, I want you to know this upma was first class. He said, I thought if you made it for me, I would get some appetite. He said, but I have no appetite. He said, but it was first class. This is our guru. This is Srila Prabhupada. The whole world, everyone in the world were chanting, saying, please save Srila Prabhupada. Krishna, don't let him leave, save him. We're chanting and chanting. And he sees one person, his servant in front of him. He's disappointed that he didn't eat anything. And he's telling him how wonderful the upma was. This is pure devotee. He came here then, 50 years ago. He didn't come here for himself. He came here for you. Came here for us. Everywhere he went around the world, from the time he went to America and Boston, it was for all of us. Every continent, we say, every continent he went on, placed his lotus feet down on the earth, just for us. Because we were all mired in deep, deep illusion. So much illusion. Prabhupada just wanted to see us all become happy. As he said, make hippies into happies. That was Prabhupada's mission, make hippies into happies. Everything for us. This is devotee. I never knew. The only time I knew he didn't feel well while I was with him, he would call me in his room before lunch and say, make khichdi for lunch today. That meant he didn't feel well. He didn't say, I have a headache, I have a sore throat, I have this. He'd say, make khichdi for lunch. Never complained. My wife and I, we've made some trips recently. We went to Boston for the 50th anniversary festival 2 weeks ago. A month before that, we traveled around for 3 months. Went to 8 different countries in 3 months. I was exhausted. I'm still exhausted. The travel. Prabhupada traveled around the world for 10 years straight. I never heard him say, I'm tired. This is really difficult. This is exhausting. I heard him say, I hate sleep. He said, it's a big waste of time sleeping. I hate sleep. That's what he said. That's devotee. Then you know you're devotee. All you want to do is serve Krishna and serve the devotees. So that was August, September 1974. There's so much more I could say about that time, but there's no time. But I'm going to tell you one more story. What it was like to be with him 24 hours a day, just there, waiting for a bell to ring. This was now 1975, March 1975. Prabhupada, he left Mumbai January, and in 2 months he traveled around the world, ended up in Mayapur. 2 months later, visited 15 temples in 60 days. That's an average of 4 days in each place. Can't imagine. We were children. We couldn't keep up with him. On the morning walk, we couldn't keep up with him. Sometimes my godbrothers, they wouldn't even go on the morning walk. They knew Prabhupada walks too fast. I didn't have a choice. I had to be right next. That was my duty, be right next to him. Best duty in the whole world, to be right next to him 24 hours a day. So he arrives in Atlanta, more than halfway through the trip. Everywhere he goes, he sees people chanting Hare Krishna. 10 years later, all around the world, he sees people chanting Hare Krishna. Every temple he was going to at that time, he sees the deities on the altar, he goes into ecstasy, crying, seeing the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gave the shortest lecture ever in Atlanta, his arrival lecture. It's one of the most famous lectures in our society. You can find it. You can put in Atlanta lecture, 1975. Prabhupada arrives there. Gornitai, beautiful brass deities. standing like that. And Prabhupada's sitting on the Vyasasana. And he sees devotees like here, temple room packed with devotees. Hundreds of devotees are there. Janmastami. Every day Janmastami. It wasn't Janmastami, but every day is Janmastami when Prabhupada's there. Every day is a huge festival. And Prabhupada sees his Gaur-Nitai deities. We go there every year now, see this Gaur-Nitai. Very powerful, very potent. And Prabhupada says, so, he said, we've been traveling, he said, and he said we were in Los Angeles, then Mexico City, Caracas, Venezuela. Then he looks at me. I said, Miami. He said, Miami. He said, and now we're here. He said, and I think your temple is the best. Oh, all the devotees, Haribol, Haribol. Then he's looking at Gaur-Nitai on the altar, and he says, Parama Karuna Pahudwijana. We never even knew this back then. He said, the two lords, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, he said they're very merciful. He said they're distributing love of Godhead, everyone, for free. He said Krishna is also merciful. That lecture we saw when he came, Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. We just heard that lecture this morning, listening to Prabhupada. He said Krishna is also merciful, but he requires that you surrender. Then he started getting choked up. He said, but Lord Chaitanya is so kind. He said, giving love of Godhead to everyone. He couldn't speak anymore. 2 minutes, it was a 2-minute lecture. Couldn't speak anymore. He got choked up. Then he just closed his eyes, went into ecstasy on the Vyasasana. And all the devotees, just like all here, so many hundreds of, couldn't hear anyone even breathe because we didn't want to disturb Prabhupada in his ecstasy. So it just got quiet. No one's even chanting on their beads because that would make noise too. We just hear, maybe it was 30 seconds, maybe it was 2 minutes. It was like an eternity. And everyone goes into everyone's feeling Prabhupada's ecstasy overflowing. And finally he opened his eyes, said, chant Hare Krishna. So that was like 8 o'clock in the morning. So my other service, big service, in the evening time, give Srila Prabhupada massage. That was, for me, the best time of the day. Prabhupada's in his bedroom. There's no lights. No one goes into his room. It's just you and him. Imagine. You're just alone with Prabhupada. And he's lying in the bed, sometimes sitting up with his legs out in the bed. And no oils, and you're just squeezing. Prabhupada told me like a chapati dough. You all know chapati dough, Matajis know how to do. Most of you don't know anything about chapati doughs. Prabhupada said, if you don't know how to cook, you're lazy. How many lazy men we have here don't know how to cook? Yeah, okay, very good. Only my godbrother, Shudi, you don't know. Yes, everyone should know how to cook. So I'm massaging him. And I'm just doing my service. If I'm in front of him, I'm serving him. Always doing something. And I'm squeezing his legs, up and down his legs, massaging his soft lotus feet. And he says, I like the cowherd boys very much. He's looking at a painting on the other side, the wall. And in the painting is young boys, Krishna Balaram, cowherd boys, and you see like an infinite amount of calves, and this, all in this one painting. And he's looking at it. as I massage him. And then he starts describing the pastime. We were listening to the lecture today. Prabhupada said, Sanjaya. He says, you all have television. One who's qualified, he also has television in the heart. When he describes things, he's seeing it. When Prabhupada told stories, it was the television in his heart. He's seeing it happen. He's seeing everything happen when he speaks. And he said, every day, Krishna and Balaram, they would go in to the forest of Vrindavan and herd the calves. He said they were just little boys. They didn't herd the cows, he said. They herded the calves. And before they left, their mothers would make all the boys a little bag, little tiffin with their prasadam, because they stayed out there all day. He's telling me all this as I'm just massaging. I don't stop and listen. Just sit there. No, I'm just doing my service. And he keeps talking and talking. And he's seeing, he's making a television. You can see it. If you're able, you can see what's going on. The way he talks, he could take the different characters and speak as they would speak. So I'm just listening, and Prabhupada's looking. And he said, of course, Mother Yasoda, she would make very nice kachori, laddu, like that, for his lunch. The cowherd boys, not so, it was more simple, right? Chapatis and rice, like that. He said then they would stop for lunch. And of course the cowherd boys, he said they'd steal Krishna's lunch and start playing keep away. This is not new. This has been going on eternally, these kind of things. Boys, this is what boys do. Always making trouble for one another. So they take Krishna's lunch and keep, he said then finally they would give Krishna their lunch. And they would eat Krishna's lunch, kachori and laddu. And then he said, I just want to go back to the spiritual world and eat kachori and laddu with Krishna. And then he closed his eyes. And I just kept massaging until he goes like this. Okay, take rest. You could be there an hour. If he doesn't say take rest, you just keep massaging. You never stop your service until you get permission. But this was Prabhupada. Prabhupada was in the spiritual world. He just wanted to go back, he said. He was longing to be back there with Krishna, eating his kachoris with him, eating kachoris and laddu with Krishna. So this was 1975. Like I say, we have big programs today. Every now and then I'll be speaking for a few minutes here and there. But this was an opportunity to speak with all of you. Very happy that I was able to be here, my wife and I. She gave a class yesterday about worshiping the deities. It's very nice. You can find it on YouTube, especially for the Grahasta community. And we've been taken care of very nicely. I see the festival they're putting on here. Temple President David Deva Prabhu and so many Prabhus, so many Matajis doing so nicely. Yesterday we had such a nice time, and after this program, after Prasadam, we're going to, I forget the name of the place, but we're all going to go where Prabhupada went there and spoke. This is what we're doing here this week. All the tirthas, wherever Prabhupada goes, it's a tirtha. Just like Kurukshetra is a tirtha, just like Vrindavan's a tirtha. Everywhere he placed his lotus feet, they're special places. 10 minutes more, I get? Okay. I always do what I'm told. There's one thing you learn is do whatever you're told by the management. So he's giving me an extra 10 minutes. All right, I'll tell one more thing, and then maybe there'll be time even for a question or two. So I told you he went around the world. So then he was in Atlanta. From Atlanta, he went to Dallas. From Dallas, he went to New York. From New York, he went to London, Bhaktivedanta Manor. And then he went to Tehran, Iran. And then he went to Mayapur, Calcutta and Mayapur, all within 2 weeks' time, all these different stops. And he gets to Mayapur. And by this time, the Lotus building is there. And it's just about complete. Prabhupada lived on the second floor. Had to go up 2 flights of stairs. And he goes into his room. Prabhupada designed the Lotus building. So nice. So he goes into the room, and in the room, there's Bhavananda, Jayapataka Maharaj, Atreya Rishi, who was from Iran, Iranian devotee. Not that we're this body, but he was from Iran. And myself were in there. And we go in, and Jayapataka Maharaj, he chants some slokas glorifying the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada looks, and what does he say? So is everyone comfortable? There's 500 devotees now in Mayapur. This is the biggest festival ever, 1975. 500 devotees, all from the West. Maybe 4 Indians out of 500 at that time. And Prabhupada said, what does he say? Is everyone comfortable? His responsibility to see that his Western devotees were comfortable. Because for so long in India, we were never comfortable, always sick. Sick, one illness after another. And yes, Prabhupada, everyone's very comfortable. By your mercy. He said, and now we have the long building. If you know Mayapur, the longest building, one of the longest buildings I've ever seen. Prabhupada said, yes, I knew we needed that. I told you. And I said, whatever money you need, you tell me, I'll supply. He wanted to see his disciples were all comfortable. Same thing I told you when I made the upma. He wanted to see that I was happy. Never mind how he felt. Wanted to see that the devotees were happy. Yes, Prabhupada, everyone, it's all by your mercy. He said, no. He said, I had an idea. He said, but Krishna arranged everything. And then he said, it's all the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, meaning his spiritual master. And then he said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he predicted that soon in the future, there would be people speaking all different languages, people all coming to Mayapur chanting Hare Krishna together. He made that prediction, he said. And then Prabhupada said something very special. He said, I may be that person. Never said those things. He would never say that on the Vyasa-sam, but he said it in front of 5 of us. He said, that person I may be. And then he looked at Jayapataka. He said, so you're planting bananas? As soon as he said one thing for 5 seconds, he immediately changed the subject. He wasn't going to let us discuss who he was, what he had done. The person who spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And it's still going on by the same person. Don't think you're doing anything. Everything Prabhupada is doing. I was in his room once. A devotee was in his room. Prabhupada said, so everything is okay? Yes, Prabhupada, I went here, I went there, I did this, I did that. Prabhupada looked at him. He said, you're not doing anything. He said, I'm doing everything. This is disciple. I can't do anything. What can I do? Just a rascal. Prabhupada had many adjectives for me, 2.5 years. Nonsense, fool, rascal, malecha. He never said devotee. Now it was all those other things. And yet he has me traveling with him, cooking for him, massaging him, sitting next to him. That's a devotee. But whatever we can do just by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Huh? This is his society. He's the Acharya, founder Acharya. Whatever happens, whatever good happens, it's because of him. Whatever not good happens, that's because of us. We can take credit for that, all the things we mess up over the decades. But whatever good's happening, it's by his mercy. So he said that. And then he asked Jaipataka about the... Jaipataka said, yes, Prabhupada. And then he asked about a particular banana, kacha banana or something. And Prabhupada said, well, they're not ripe yet. He said, no, no, no. He said there was a certain type of banana he wanted to see that they planted. This is after he tells us that he is the person who's given Krishna to everyone. He just starts talking about bananas, planting. And then he said, you have the Sarabi cow. He said, they can withstand this heat, but their milk, he said, not very creamy. He said, you can mate the Sarabi cow with the Jersey cow from the west. He said, they give very rich milk. And the Sarabi cow can tolerate the heat. He said, you put the two of them together. He said, and then you'll have a cow can tolerate the heat and give very nice, rich milk. That's what he did with us, mixed us all together. Now again we hear this nonsense, A2 milk, this ghee, that ghee, this is good, this... Same thing, Prabhupada traveled around the world to destroy that concept. This is good, this is bad. We hear this. I see A2 milk, vegan, don't drink milk. All these things Prabhupada told us to do. This is what you have to follow. Whatever he said, that's what we do. And if you do that, your life will be perfect. And at the end of your life, you go back home, back to Godhead. And then what do? You can eat kachuris and laddu with Krishna. This is our spiritual master. This is Srila Prabhupada. So I think, okay, let's see. We'll take questions until I'm told to stop. Anyone have any questions, comments? Mataji, you can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please narrate that pastime of New Vrindavan for the benefit of those who were not here yesterday with us on Parikrama. Please, thank you.
Which story was that?
The Prabhu who wanted to be a Vyasasan.
The devotee boy? Yes. You like that? I was there in New Vrindavan, 1972. So Prabhupada did Bhagavat Sapta. Every day he would speak Bhagavatam. So this was also a big festival. One of the first big festivals in New Vrindavan. There are hundreds of devotees there. I'm in the kitchen cooking. I'm in charge of the kitchen. I'm being assisted by Radhanath Das Brahmachari and Veer Krishna Das Goswami. Veer Krishna Das at the time. We're all cooking in the kitchen. So we didn't get to go up on Govardhan Hill where Prabhupada gave his classes. But the very first day, Prabhupada's arriving up on the hill. And there's this one boy, he's also a young guy, like the rest of us, 20 years old. He's going to be initiated tomorrow with so many other devotees. And Prabhupada's starting to walk up on the stage. And this boy sees the Vyasasan's not even there yet. So there's nowhere for Prabhupada to sit. So the boy's sitting there thinking, what can I do? What can I do? So he figured out what I can do. He said, I'm going to run up on the stage and get down on my hands and knees, like offering obeisances, and Prabhupada can use me as his seat. I'll be like the Vyasasan. Prabhupada can just sit on me. And he's thinking like that. And as he's thinking, of course, the devotees, finally, like 4 devotees, they all have Prabhupada's Vyasasan, and they run up and boom, they put it down. And of course, Prabhupada sat on the Vyasasan. So Prabhupada initiated him 24 hours later. And he hands him his beads, and he says, your name is Vyasasan Das. The boy didn't say anything to anyone. He's thinking, I'm Vyasasanda. So Prabhupada, he satisfied his desire to become Srila Prabhupada's Vyasasanda. Because he knows, Prabhupada knew everything, as he said. Whatever Krishna wants you to know, pure devotee knows. So in that instance, he said, you name him. And Prabhupada would do that sometimes. He would give initiation and their names were written down. Secretary would pick the names from the book of names, and he'd look and say, no, that's not their name. And he'd give them a different name, right like that on the spot. When I got initiated, fortunately, I told Shruti, it was July 22nd, 1971. 90 days I was in the temple. You could get initiated by the management's okay. And I went up, and Prabhupada looked at me, what are the regulative principles? And you would be repeating them in your head, because in front of him, your brain just turns to mush, like you can't think. But I repeated very quickly, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. Then he said, and how many rounds do you chant? He didn't say, and you chant 16 rounds. He said, how many rounds do you chant? I said, I'm chanting 20 rounds a day, Srila Prabhupada, with a little. And he looked at me, went, He knew that wasn't going to last. There's 20 rounds a day. Huh? Lucky if you chant any rounds, he's thinking as he looks at me. And then he said, your name is Srutakirti. He said, and Srutakirti means one whose activities are world famous. And all the devotees go, ooh, Hari Bol. And then he looks at me and said, and you're Srutakirti Das. And he gave me his beads. I went back to my seat, and somebody said, what's your name? I said, I don't know. Never heard it before. We would have to go to the Prabhupada's front door, and the secretary would write your Karmi name and your new name with diacritic marks, and we'd write it down and put it on our chest. So we knew our name, what to speak of everybody else. So that was our business. I think we have to carry on from here. Tell me, Mataji, you have the microphone, whatever you say.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, we'll continue our program now. I just have a few announcements to make. So a very big thank you to His Grace Srutakirti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Also a reminder, we have these amazing books that Prabhu has written, What is the Difficulty? And Prabhu shares his very intimate moments and experiences with Srila Prabhupada. So you have the opportunity of purchasing a copy of this book and having your own copy. And Prabhu will also sign the book for you. Also, I'd like to welcome His Grace Shruti Prabhu that's here as well. A very warm welcome to you, Prabhu. Prabhu's joined us for all the celebrations that are taking place here in South Africa. So thank you once again. It's been so wonderful hearing all these beautiful and interesting stories that you've shared with Srila Prabhupada. I just have a few announcements to make. We are celebrating Sri Sri Radharanath's 40th anniversary, and we have a very rare keepsake. We have a commemorative coin collection in bronze, silver, and gold, and this comes in a beautiful premium collector's box. So this is really a wonderful opportunity to purchase these coins. They're absolutely beautiful, and it makes a beautiful memory of the celebration of the 40th anniversary. Also, I'd like to welcome His Grace Medhavi Prabhu that's also here with us. A very warm welcome to you, Prabhu. My apologies, I did not see you in the crowd, but a very warm welcome to you, and thank you for being here with us and celebrating the 40th and 50th anniversary celebrations that we are all busy with. Also, on October 11th, there are Maha Abhisheks that everyone can engage in. We have Srila Prabhupada's 50th anniversary Maha Abhishek. We have Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Maha Amrit Abhishek, as well as Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Maha Pushpa Abhishek. So you can contact Bhakti Khatha Mataji for further details. Sri Sri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Also a reminder, Karthik starts on Tuesday, that is the 7th of October, and that continues till the 5th of November. And there's also wonderful opportunities to engage in service. There's Mother Yashoda and Lord Damodar garlands, there's Vaishnav Seva, ghee lamps, and evening programs and prasad that you can engage as far as service is concerned. On Monday, the 6th of October, you can have the opportunity to join His Grace Medhavi Prabhu, His Grace Shuddhi Prabhu, and His Grace Srutakirti Prabhu. That is at 7 o'clock, where there is a visit to the Old Fort Military Park, as well as a Japa walk on the beachfront. That is tomorrow at 7:30, the Japa walk. On Tuesday, as I mentioned, Karthik begins, Sharad Purnima festival begins. There will be many opportunities to come through and engage in service. Lamp offerings will be taking place. So there's a lot happening this week, as well as next week is our 40th year celebrations. That's on Saturday and Sunday. A humble request to each and every one of you to please join us for the amazing celebrations that are going to be taking place next weekend. Today's love feast was lovingly prepared by the Pakreni Namahata, led by His Grace Rameshwar Prabhu and the wonderful devotees from the South Coast. So a very big thank you to them. So we will now observe Aarti. May everyone rise. Thank you once again for coming to today's Sunday Love Feast program, and we look forward to seeing each and every one of you with us next week. A reminder of the books that are available, and you can get yourself a signed copy of this book.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, one more quick announcement. If you do come forward to get your signed copy of your book, a humble request, no touching of His Grace Srutakirti Prabhu's feet. Hare Krishna.
Sri Harinam Sakirtan Yagya Ki. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutare Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatanischatanine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktarina. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktarina. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, Nityananda, Prabhupada. Hey, hey, hey. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, Nityananda, Prabhupada. Hey, hey, hey. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
In the Vrindavan too.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupad Prabhupada Parivrajacharya Susara Susharji Shrimad. His Divine Grace I.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Vishnupad Prabhupada Parivrajacharya Susara Shrimad. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki. Anankoti Vaishnavavindagi ki. Prem Sako Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Sri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopi Raj Chambakunda Radha Gundagiri Govardhana ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Madhuda Dham ki, Jagada Bodhi Dham ki, Ganga Mai ki, Yamuna Mai ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Samavekta Bhaktivinoda Vrinda ki, Delachab Sri Radha Radhanath ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glorious assembled devotees. All glories to simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories, Shri 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 Guru Anguranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. 너비세 나를 신가야 너비세 나를 신가야 Blood and heart of dying 이란야가 시불 바샤하 시라는 가라가라에 도리신고 빠른 도리신고 도리신고 빠른 도리신고 야도 야비다 도리신고 Nishingo, Hidari, Nishingo. Nishingo, Hidari, Nishingo. Dana Shinga, Bani, Sadana, Prabhupada. Avangada Kabalabare Nagava Nutashinga Dalida Iranyaga Shibu Danubinga Shabadrina Narari Rupa Tinagari Share Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrina Narahari Rupa Jajagadish Hare Jajagadish Hare Jajagadish Hare Jaya Nashingare, 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 Jaya Nashingare. Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Sri Lakshmi Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. okay.